In this video, I want to talk about how to study and when to register for your CMA exam. Also, I want to provide you with some simple steps that people tend to overlook when preparing for such big standardized exams. Hello, my name is Jobin Thomas, and I have recently completed my CMA Part 1 and Part 2 exam. I'm making this video so that I can reach out to several candidates who are in the same place that I was a year ago. I was clueless about when to register for the CMA and how to study for this exam. And I hope that after watching this video, I answer both of those questions. Now, as we all know, CMA has become one of the most valuable global certification out there for finance and accounting. And that's the reason why more and more people are pursuing CMA worldwide. However, we still don't find any guidance on how to prepare for such standardized exams or when to register for this exam. All the factors I'm going to be mentioning in this video are very important and very practical. So please pay attention and let's get started. So first thing first, mental preparation. It is very important that you constantly remind yourself how difficult this exam is. Yes, I said it right, how difficult this exam is. But also tell yourself all the benefits that you can reap from having that certification in your hand. During my preparation, I would frequently read up on the benefits of CMA certification and also read about candidates who have successfully completed the curriculum. This could be found in the last 2 pages of the Strategic Finance magazine provided by CMA to all the members. This helped me in staying motivated throughout the process. Also, I would keep some positive assertions close to myself. I'm strong, I'm confident, I'm smart, and I'm capable of achieving anything I've put my heart and mind into. The goal is not to scare you, but to acknowledge the mountain that you must climb. Now let's talk about registering for this exam. When do you register for this exam? For both parts, I registered only after I found myself halfway through the study material that I was using. This way, I was able to assess how long would it take me to complete the other half of the study material, plus provide myself with 1 month of cushion time so that I can take a lot of practice exams and review enough times so that I am well prepared for the exam day. So, just to repeat, find yourself halfway through the study material. That's when you want to register for the exam, because at that time you can assess how long it's going to take you to complete the other half of the study material and give yourself 1 month cushion. Now, why am I asking to wait for so long to register for your exam? If you are someone like me who haven't studied in a long time, in my case 10 years, then you want to give yourself some grace period to adjust to studying. In my case, it took me anywhere from 1 month to 2 months to really settle down and focus for my preparation. It took me about 6 to 7 months to complete my Part 1 exam, but it only took me 3.5 months to complete my Part 2 exam because I was already in the zone and I continued my preparation and completed my exam within 1 year. Another reason is you want to find out if you're really serious about this exam. Once you have purchased the study material and went halfway through it, then you know you are really serious about it. And that is the time when you should be registering for this exam. CMA is a long-term investment of time and effort, so plan accordingly. So now let's discuss a little bit about the study material. I don't want to disclose which study material I used. I don't want to discourage anyone who have already bought their study materials and think that, one study material is superior to another. They're not. All the study materials prepare you well if you follow the directions in the study material for this exam. The key thing that you want to pay attention to is your study material providing you with a lot of practice exams. You need at least 2,000 or more practice exams to work with. For each part of my exam, I had practiced with 1,500 to 1,800 questions each part. And that's what you want to do. You want to go in with enough confidence, and to have that confidence, you have to practice with a lot of questions. You want to make sure you're not spending more than 20 to 25% of your time studying the material. You want to spend 75 to 80% or maximum amount of time taking the practice exams. I cannot emphasize more on that. 75 to 80% of your time should be practicing the exams. If you are really interested in passing the CMA Part 1 and Part 2 the first attempt, then you want to practice as many questions as you can. In my case, as I mentioned, I have practiced anywhere between 1,500 and 1,700 questions for each part. And if you're still interested in knowing the study material that I chose, then comment below and I will be happy to share that information. Now let's get to the meat of this exam, studying for CMA. I followed a very simple strategy when it comes to studying for the exam, and I will break it down step by step. When you are going through the study material, study in the same order that the material has been prepared. Do not skip chapters so that you can tackle easy chapters or hard chapters first. Rather, build and continue a rhythm. For each chapter that you're studying, make separate notes for yourself. You can do this by creating flashcards for yourself or getting a notebook and making separate notes on that. The point here is to keep it as descriptive as possible and be able to understand the context when you're reviewing it. I kept a very simple flow when it comes to studying. For each chapter, I would study the chapter first, take my notes, practice the exams for that chapter, and then end up with taking a cumulative exam with all the chapters that I have studied so far. So for example, if I am studying chapter 1, I would take the notes for chapter 1 and I would practice exams on chapter 1, and then I would move on to chapter 2. However, once I'm done with practice exams for chapter 2, I would go back and take a cumulative exam for chapter 2 and chapter 1, and then move on to chapter 3. And then when I'm on chapter 3, the same process again. I would study for chapter 3, I would take my notes, I would practice my exams on chapter 3, but before moving on to chapter 4, I would practice my cumulative exam with chapter 1, 2, 3. And the goal here is to get 70% or above for your cumulative exams and your chapter related exams. If you don't have 70%, then I would recommend going back to the chapters where you are struggling or where you're tending to forget the materials. It is also a good time to review all the materials, all the notes that you have taken while studying for each chapter. So before moving on to the next chapter, just take your time to review the previous chapters using the notes that you have taken. And this will really, really, really help you a lot in retaining a lot of information as you're moving along. Because what happens is a lot of people tend to forget 80 to 90% of the content when they reach the last chapter, and you don't want to be one of those. You want to make sure you retain as much as possible. And by maintaining a 70% margin, you will make sure that you will remember a lot of the content when you are finishing up the study material. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, the essay questions. Now, that is something you have to spend a whole lot of time preparing. I'm talking about maybe 3 months of preparation. I'm kidding. You don't. Essay questions really assess the knowledge that you have gained while studying for CMA exam. There's no separate preparation for essay required. If you have studied your material well enough, then you will know how to tackle the essay questions during the exam. All you need to know is how to format your answers correctly and efficiently so that you're not wasting any time during the exam in figuring out what's the efficient way of responding to a question. I have spent no more than 1 or 2 days for the preparation of essay questions. I really focused on previous year questions and looked up the best way to format the answers so that I can respond to the question efficiently. Again, while you are preparing for your CMA exam, if you are reviewing your notes again and again, every 5 to 6 days at least, and in your practice exams, if you are able to understand why you're getting the right answers right and why you're getting the wrong answers wrong, then you will be able to understand the concepts better. And this is what is being tested in the essay questions. So don't worry too much about the essay questions or how to tackle essay questions. It's really related to the concepts that you understand. If you are faking your concepts, then you are going to be struggling with your essay questions. So pay attention to your concepts, understand them well. If you have questions, there are a lot of materials out there on YouTube and Google that could help you in getting a deeper understanding of the concepts. When you're studying for CMA, make sure you know the fact that there are tons and tons of concepts to understand. The key here is to understand the concepts. And this understanding comes from lots and lots of practice exams that you will be taking throughout the curriculum. You have to learn from all the mistakes that you have made. You have to understand why you're making those mistakes. And you have to understand and drill the concepts clearly in your mind and review them again and again and again. The only practical way that I understand to remember these concepts is by repeatedly reviewing your notes. So do not skip over that step. This way, you will be saving yourself from a lot of frustration that comes towards the end of the study material. If I haven't mentioned this before, you will tend to forget 70 to 90% of your material when you come towards the end of the study material. So to avoid that, review as many times as possible. One additional tip I would like to provide is that create a small group of people who are taking this exam in the same time frame that you are. And create this group after you have completed through halfway of the study material. This way you know you are serious, first of all, and you will find people who are equally serious with this exam. And lastly, I'm going to emphasize one more time, take a lot of practice exams. And on the days when you're scheduled to take a practice exam, if you don't feel like taking the practice exam, just practice with 5 to 10 questions and call it a day. The goal here is to challenge yourself every day to climb a little bit more of that mountain. And soon you'll be on top of that. Good luck for your exam. And if you find this video valuable, then please share and like. And comment below if you have any questions or anything you need more clarity on. I'll be happy to share my knowledge. Thanks again, and good luck.